Earlier, the engineering education was considered
Yeah.
like a premier education.
Yes.
Today, it is mass education. You have so many engineering institutions,
Yes.
and the students started rejecting the poor performance.
Yes.
The institutions who are not performing well,
Yes.
the students started rejecting them.
Yes.
How far this TQM process for the institutions who are doing well will help them to do well in the students' perspective?
Oh, yes, sir. You have queried 2-3 questions in a different way. One by one, I will try to answer you. First of all, India needs a lot more engineers than existing now. In one of the research study in 2004, probably from the government of India, released that India was in a position of 1 in 1,000 of engineers. It is a rough approximate, probably you can go in detail the report over there. At the same time, the developed nations like America or Japan, they have a 1 in 30 or a 1 in 70 engineers they have. So that much gap is there inside our country as far as the engineers are concerned. Once the quality engineers we are able to produce it, that much job is there, that much employment is there, that much engineers are required very well in our nation. That is one thing. And another thing is how far these institutions can embed or impart the quality management inside the thing. That is only one thing, sir. We need to go for an first awareness and provide a proper training and education with respect to the quality management, and how far we are planning and implementing with the involvement of all. That is the basis of this quality management. At one point of time, we should involve everybody in the organization and to realize this is what which is required inside the institution. Once the people realize it, Indian is always having a follow-up nature. Once we train them, then it is very difficult to put it in a different track. That is always highly possible inside our nation to bring this quality culture in institutions.
Thank you.
We have talked about the work and home culture. In developed nations, they don't have a demarcation between the work or a home, and there will be a very minor difference as far as the quality is concerned, whether it is a hotel or a home or a public transportation or in his own transportation, the quality remains the same. There will be a very minor difference one can see. One can see whenever we visit abroad, probably we are in a position to visualize this type of a quality everywhere. And another quality barrier is all about the proper planning. As Indians, one should not say, but we are much delayed process in the planning. It is highly witnessed in construction of bridges inside our country. Wherever the metro cities we come across, for at least 1 year, 1.5 years, the bridge construction will go on. The actual project period will be of a maximum of 3 to 6 months. But always it will be of 2 to 3 times will be of more. It shows that improper planning from our engineers, from our managers, from our constructors, from our administrators. So it is very much essential. If you want to instill a quality inside the institution, the planning is a very critical thing or the crucial thing, which is as on today it is a highly barrier one, and the commitment and the substantial effort is required. We have to take a leap forward to improve our commitment to improve the education from our country. And ultimately it all talks about the quality of a life. At the end of the day, whatever the barriers, the characteristics, the jargons, the levels, the perspectives, it should end with the quality of a life of every human being over a country.
Always we think about cheap and best. No, we want to pay less, but we want to get the best out of it, the best quality product.
Yes.
Is there any correlation between the cost of the product versus the quality?
Certainly, quality versus cost only talks about the value of a product.
Okay.
The customer estimates always a value than a cost or a quality. With the lesser cost, always he needs a higher value. With the more cost, still he needs a more value. That is why the car which runs in a road from 5 lakhs to 80 lakhs, we can see the Maruti car to the BMW, which talks about the cost to the value. Always it is that is why it is a quality characteristic itself. The perspective of a consumer or a user is always with respect to the cost. It is a relative comparison. How much value I am getting out of this particular product.
So you mean to say that when the quality is being ensured, we need to pay more?
There only the criticality comes in. How that particular company is adopting the methodologies in a cheaper way to produce that particular product by giving a more features in it. If you happen to see the successful companies, maybe automobile, maybe a mobile, the cost which they are paying by the consumer will have a more specific functionality, specific features, specific characteristic on that particular mobile or a car. That is the reason. But how they are achieving it, the company, through adopting certain quality methodologies, through benchmarking, through different quality deployments, different techniques, different tools are available to capture the need of a customer and translate in terms of the manufacturing requirements. It is always possible. Japan is the only one country, they have established all these methodologies some 3-4 decades ago, and one by one now we are listening and we are trying to deploying it, but already they have deployed. That is why that country is the number one in any product, especially if you happen to see. Now we will quicker way we will go through how this quality management in a historical way developed it. The first revolution which happens to see, the industrial revolution, that is the pride in everything, and some amount of scientific management enters in with the interchangeable parts, especially the mass products, mass manufacturing concept when the automobile company enters into this field. And inspection regime, this is another important era which enters in terms of a quality, the statistical approaches to the quality control. Nowadays people are not talking about the quality control, people are assuring the quality, and the managers who are always committed towards the improved quality. These are the 4 different compartmentalized or a modularized way the quality management has been established. At the same time, the quality of management is significantly more important than management of quality. So in this reason only, the birth of the term, the total quality management has come in. It is originated as a Feigenbaum. In 1951, he talks about the total quality control. Later it has been converted in terms of a total quality management. Ultimately, the quality finally touch upon the customer requirements. What for the requirements, what for the service, what for the product has been met exactly, which needs a lot much commitment from the management. Once again, I am re-emphasizing that the quality management comes from the senior executives or the senior personnel in any organization. And the TQM, the terminology talks about in a very simplest way the integration of the quality principles in an organization management systems. What type of quality principle they are adopting inside the organization talks about the management systems. That only leads to your or talks in a broader spectrum of a total quality management. Early 1990s, probably these management principles in the service industry too adopted. That is the logical extension into the healthcare industry or the education industry, which we are witnessing now, which is being embedded inside the educational institutions. Evolution of the total quality management with from the quality guru aspect of it, different point of time the different quality gurus have emphasized the quality in a different way. The Deming has come up with the 14 points agenda, that plan, do, check, active, or a PDSA wheel or a Deming wheel people used to say, and Juran comes up with the quality trilogy. He talks about the planning and how to control and how to implement it, and the Crosby again talks about education per se, what to determine it, what type of education we need to provide and how to implement it. This is the Crosby philosophy with respect to the educational quality management. And Hermann Feigenbaum, that is what in 1951 he emphasized about the total quality control. And another important person from Japan, Ishikawa, even in his name one tool is there, Ishikawa diagram or Ishikawa tool. He established the 7 QC tools. He is a father of a quality circles too. And Garvin, in another aspect of quality, he talks about the manufacturing in 8 dimensions of quality. And another important person, the Shingo, he talks about the just-in-time or the fail-safe devices. Even in educational setup, for a laboratory safety purposes, we can always involve this type of quality principles inside our institution to improve the quality. And Jenichi Taguchi, he has come up with the quality through design, and he talks about the loss functions, especially his contribution towards the design of experiments in different problems has been, still it is being followed in many industries in educational institutions. And the last one is the Kano. Kano has given a customer expectations has been classified in a better way or performance or delight. These are the 3 basic thing which has been specified by the Kano. The one diagram which talks about the quality, probably the quality books will give you a more detail all about this quality gurus. Now in essence, the evolution of a total quality management has been grouped in terms of 4 regimes. It started with the quality inspection in an industry. The whatever the labors produce, somebody will be inspected, it is being accepted or rejected. That is one point of a regime. Another is the control, After the inspection, they have been classified, this can be reworked or this can be rejected, and nowadays quality is being assured. The laborer himself is being responsible, or in education setup the faculty is responsible, and he is the person assuring the quality to the student that this is what you are going to end of a course or end of a graduation. And putting all these things, inspection, control and assurance, the different quality methodologies are the tools encompassing the total quality management. That is the order of the day with every institutions now. And now formally we can define the total quality management. It is a comprehensive organization-wide effort of the quality in products and services applicable to all organizations. It is not only the educational or healthcare or a product or a manufacturing or any organization. If you see, this is a comprehensive organizational wide effort. An organization means, as I said earlier, at the individual level it has to be come up with the quality consciousness. And another definition it talks about method of improving the effectiveness of an organization by involving every individual. That is why again I am emphasizing with an underline, involving every individual at every level within the organization, ensuring they work together. It is not the individual quality talks in an organization. Ultimately the end of a product, whether it is an education setup or a manufacturing, the output or the outcome of the product jointly only one can achieve it. In the past era, people have come up with only the teamwork or the joint effort, and all these efforts ultimately lead to the achieve the quality, everybody's participation. In the essence, everybody's participation, and again it is repeatedly emphasizing towards the total quality management. It is not that only the portion of people or a fraction of people are involving in a quality to improve that particular organization. It is highly impossible. Wherever the successful company is there, starting from the security to the topmost executive in a institution or an organization, with the help of all only or everybody's participation only, they were able to achieve that particular quality.